Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Grow Your Practice podcast. I'm joined here with Dr. Peter Wishney, who is the owner and has been running a practice for 33 years. Has the highest rated business podiatry book called the Podiatry Practice Business Solutions. How are you going today, Peter?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Lachlan. Really
No,
appreciate it. This is
awesome
great.
to have you. Now, you don't mind if I jump into a couple of icebreaker questions?
Shoot.
Awesome. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Washington Heights, New York City, and Manhattan. So this accent is not from Georgia, it's from New York City.
Okay, New York City.
Yes, I lived there for almost 17 years, and then we moved to Long Island. And then I went to school after college in Long Island. I went to school in California.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. And what the last one? What do you do for fun?
Oh, so besides loving to read, I play sports or work out a lot, and watch all kinds of sports, and concerts, music.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm a foodie, love to go out and eat, so I need to work out a lot because of that.
Yeah. Okay. What sport do you watch mainly?
So I played baseball in high school,
Okay. Yeah.
but the baseball, football, basketball, and some hockey too.
Right. Yeah, you guys have got a lot of sport over there. All right, let's jump straight into it. So, what inspired you to become a coach and help other practices?
Sure. So my story begins when I was 29 years old out of my residency. I never worked for anyone from residency, bought a practice, um, and 29 years old, had no clue what I was doing. I was losing money left and right. I owed about $300,000 between student loans, buying the practice, and a credit line. And
Oh,
then, as my story goes, I got a fax one day. It's like, to me, a message from heaven that said how to run your medical practice, a 2-day seminar in New York City, $99. So perfect, $99. I went there. Thought I was going to learn everything that I need to know, but no, it's a sales.
yeah.
Basically, try to sell you, they sell you a coach for a year, and I spent about another $18,000 on a coach, and I learned so much, and I loved learning the business, learning how to be the CEO of my practice. So I was going through some tough times, and I'm not a patient person, so I didn't wait that typical 3-year period where
Mhm.
that growing period. I waited
Yeah.
3 months, and so I just loved um, learning and love about leadership and love learning about your practice. So I then, when I sold my practice a couple of years ago, wanted to help other doctors and not have them suffer. No reason to suffer. Teach them how to run a business because no one teaches you that in medical
Yeah.
school.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Awesome. I would love to touch on the increasing your per visit revenue because obviously in Australia, that's not a common term. We normally talk about lifetime value or annual value of a certain client, but I'd love for you to touch on the per visit revenue and how you go about what strategies that you see most common that you help implement into practices to increase their in per visit revenue.
Sure. Now, lifetime value of a patient is very important. So you don't want
Yeah.
to not have that number,
Yeah.
especially if you do marketing.
Hmm.
You're going to spend a lot of money in marketing. You would need to know the lifetime value of a patient. So
Yeah.
that's very
Yeah.
So on
Yeah.
a day-to-day operations, your revenue per visit, or per visit revenue, same thing. It's the amount of money you make per patient.
Hmm.
And a lot of times we go in and we see a patient and they have a chief complaint and we handle that chief complaint. And we might notice a few things, but we don't ask questions.
Yeah.
And sometimes patients are afraid to tell you other problems because it's the fear of the unknown, right? So you need to go and examine the patient and really ask questions about everything that you see. But revenue per visit, now, especially, there's two ways to make money every single day. You see more patients and you keep your revenue per visit the same, or you can see like less patients and increase your revenue per visit, which in my mind gets the patient better faster, Okay, so when the patient gets better faster, they're happier. You could spend a little more time with that patient because you're not inundated with a lot of patients,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or you could do a combination of both to really exponentially grow your practice. So what other things can you do? We're talking about podiatry. What things we can do in podiatry to increase your revenue per visit? One is that, I mean, in the States, we have a lot of insurance, and now we're going through this hybrid model, insurance and direct care pay, or directly to direct pay, meaning cash pay services. But no matter what, the patient has a pair of orthotics. Um, do they need another pair for their dress shoes?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't want to keep on moving pair to pair, so can you get them a second pair of orthotics? We don't
Hmm.
ask these questions. It's just a simple, like, you can, oh, you love the orthotics, Mrs. Jones. Great. Let's get you another pair for your dress shoes. So that's one example how to increase it. Other ways it's using different modalities, laser therapy for pain or nail fungus. Okay, because while you have maybe um, someone working on the patient using laser therapy, you could be seeing another patient.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you can increase your revenue per visit, you can increase your dollars per hour, which is another number
Yeah.
that relates to that. So by adding different modalities, cash-based services, or asking questions like, does this ingrown toenail bother you? I know you came in because of your nails, but I see you have an ingrown nail here. Does that bother you as well? Or we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
special medication for that, creams and lotions,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
whatever, to increase their revenue per visit. And just, again, you don't have to work as hard.
Yeah. Okay. Very smart. What are the most common inefficiencies that you sort of see in podiatry practices that are very common across the board?
Um, so systems or lack of systems.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, there was a movie about Ray Kroc and McDonald's. And I took my whole staff because they know I'm all about systems, and I have every single system written down in my big manual. So I took them to the movie to show them how the power of the systems. And everybody likes systems because they know what to expect.
Yeah.
You could, like, this is what I need to do for the day. So when you don't have things written down and you don't train your staff that way, then it can become chaos.
Yeah.
As you grow and maybe you see 15 patients a day, now you're growing to 20 to 25, those systems you had in place no longer work.
Mm.
And you need to simplify things to allow the staff to do what they do best, educate the patient on their foot and ankle health or their financial responsibilities, or making sure they make their appointments and keep their appointments. So lack of systems is the big thing. That's what causes the most inefficiencies in the practice, and not knowing what's going on. You're a doctor, you go home, you're the doctor, you see patients go home, but you don't have any understanding of what happened to your business that day.
Yeah. 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 That's key. Awesome. Now, I just wanted to touch on KPIs. If you had to recommend three KPIs that a practice has to track, what would they be?
Sure. The number one is new patients.
New patients, yeah.
Especially in podiatry, we live and die of new patients. I don't know about in Australia, but when I went to school, they had a saying: you treat them and you street them. So you get
Right.
people better and then they leave. Eventually, they might have another problem. You stay in touch, but you need constant flow of new patients. So that's the big one. And then obviously your collections.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're not insurance-based, the charges are not as important. Charges not as important as your collections when you don't have insurance. And then you told visits, but to me, visits is just doesn't is not really the big key. Your dollars per hour and your RPV, your revenue per
Yeah.
visit. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And you touched on a bit about obviously podiatrists need to bring in new patients. How do you go about that? Because I saw that you touch a little bit on marketing, but I'm not too sure how in depth you go. But I'd love to hear sort of where you find the most efficient way of acquiring
Sure.
new patients.
And For my buddy Rem Jackson at Top Practices, he'll talk about the four pillars of marketing. But I look at it as if you need new patients now, but you don't have a lot of revenue to spend on marketing, you don't have to. You have a database. This is like, if you saw what I did in 1989 compared to what we do today, you
Yeah.
have a database and you could have an e-newsletter, educate your patients on what you do.
Yeah.
And people don't know what you do. So they don't know if you're the right doctor to see or the treatment you're going to provide, is it painful or not? Just shoot 1 minute videos and get your SEO up on your website. Your website is key, is huge. Marketing to your patient base, getting them to have testimonials and send referrals and reviews, and visiting, referring other referring specialists
Yeah.
is a big key. So again, none of that costs really money,
Yeah.
costs you time. I mean, you see the time and money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that will increase your patient base tremendously. And I'll give you one big thing that your audience can do tomorrow that make a huge difference if they're not doing it. Call all your new patients the next day and ask them, do you have any additional questions since your visit yesterday? Don't know how you're
Wow.
doing, not how you're feeling, but it's old school doctor-patient relationships. We have lost that touch.
Yeah.
More touches you can provide to your patient, the better relationship, the more likely they will refer. And isn't that the case in social media marketing? The more touches
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have
Exactly.
with the public, the more likely they get to know you
Mm.
and then use your service.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, very smart. No, I completely agree on the database as well because
Mm,
that's honestly where the value of their business is really that database. Now,
absolutely.
I would love to touch on, you talked about reducing your workload, but I would love to talk about how you go about reducing the workload without sacrificing revenue and profit in a
Sure.
practice.
The first part of this is is your mindset, because I have many clients who like have that fear of slowing down. I call it to slow down to speed up. So since almost day one, I had a rainmaker day. My Wednesdays, I took the whole day off and I worked on the business.
Yeah,
There's a great book called E-Myth, and there's another book by the same author, Michael Gerber, I think it is, and the E-Myth for physicians. And who makes more money, the chef, the baker, or the person who owns the restaurant or the bakery, right?
mm,
So you need time. But the problem being a doctor, you have to be both, right? So
yeah,
you need time to work on the business. So if you took a day every week and you worked on your systems and you made your office more efficient, if you had better training with your staff and they were more efficient, the efficiency allows you, think about it. You just talked about the lifetime value of a patient. This is where this number comes in.
yeah,
So now you have a patient who comes in and you, let's say you see 4 patients an hour. And now with increased efficiency, you can see 5 to 6 new patients an hour. And one of them is an additional new patient.
yeah,
Okay. So be more efficient and not spending more energy throughout the day. You're making more money.
yeah,
Okay. But you took a day off. You really didn't take the day off.
yeah,
You worked on the business so the phone could ring more. The staff can handle it. They then feel less stress and they're more likely to stay with you. And it's just a hard concept because we have this worker bee mentality
yeah,
that we need
yeah,
to stop and be more like a CEO.
yeah. Very smart. Awesome. And what do you find the main differences between a successful practice and a really unsuccessful practice?
Sure. That's the one where
Yeah,
one is taking the
working.
time to work on your business. The other thing is, um, years ago, what I found, the one thing that will allow you to have more money and more time is becoming a better leader.
Yeah,
Becoming a better leader means that you are developing leaders around you. Now you trust your staff. You trust them to make good decisions based on the mission and vision you set forth in the organization. So I became a certified leadership because of that. I read book after book on leadership, becoming a better leader and be able to, I don't like to say manage people, but to communicate with your team
yeah,
and to work together as a team. That will actually then make you in the top 1% all practices in your area.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Awesome. I just wanted to touch on one final question. Where
Sure.
can podiatry practices save money in 2024? Where's the easiest place that you sort of see inefficiencies in money being spent?
Um, Not using your staff properly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one is it's hard to get good staff. That's what people say. It's true, but you need to hire slowly and find the right people, have the right qualities you're looking for. Now, when you hire them, train them properly, spend
Mhm.
time with them. Um, Making them more efficient will save you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then also looking at your numbers, looking at your P&L statements. You know how many doctors don't even know what a P&L statement is, or profit and loss statement, or they don't even look at it? Where
Yeah.
are you spending money? And looking at it every single month and compare it month over month. So July is coming, July of 2024 compared to July of 2023. You would go back to June and compare month over month and see, well, am I spending too much money on payroll? Because that's a big expense.
Yeah.
And it's okay, but the rule of thumb is that a person's um, salary they should earn three times their salary to
Yeah.
back to the business directly. And sometimes it's indirectly. If it's
Mhm.
saving you time to become more efficient, thus you making more money in the back end, that works as well.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to reviewing it all and going back over it.
This is great, Lachlan. Thank you so much. And if you need anything, just let me know. It's great becoming a new friend here. It's great.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again for your time. See ya.